where we sit with the Minerals Commission. If you would remember, for the past few weeks, we've been talking about the local content and local participation regulation, and we've delved into what services locals are allowed by the law to offer to mining communities, mining companies. And today we are going into another aspect very much related when it comes to skills development and how you can prepare yourselves to be a beneficiary or a participant in this space that's reserved for Ghanaians and locals for the mining sector. As usual, CEO for the Minerals Commission, Mr. Martin Ayisi, is at the table, and he'll be telling us what the pointers are, what courses perhaps you should be studying when it comes to making yourself ready to participate in the mining sector. Remember that we are streaming live on Facebook and on Twitter with the Ghana Broadcasting Corporation. You can also catch this interview on the Mineral Commission's Ghana's social media handles, so you can get them on YouTube, Twitter, Facebook, LinkedIn, and Instagram. Just look for Minerals Commission Ghana. At some point, we'll open the phone line so that you can ask Mr. Ayisi questions directly, and hopefully you'll get a better understanding of what skills you will need to build and develop so you can be a part of the local content and local participation regulation 2020 LI 2431. Mr. Ayisi is here now. Good morning.
Morning.
So this is very dear to your heart, and for weeks we've been talking about it, about the opportunities that the law creates for Ghanaians and people in the local mining communities to benefit from the services offered to the mining companies, and then to be a part of this multi-billion-dollar industry, just to retain all these proceeds home. Someone is watching us for the first time. They may be wondering, what have we talked about all this while? Let's have a quick recap of all the services and the people who can participate, and then we can get to the skills that people need to develop to get into this sector.
Tema, morning.
Good morning.
It's great to be here.
Once again.
Let me start by saying this. I think in my maiden presentation, I indicated that mining is a heartbeat of this country. Why am I saying so? If you check the data from Bank of Ghana, all those stuff that we export, mining is number one. I think last year, 2020, is about 48%. So look at all the exports that go out. So close to about half mining. Last year, I think it's about 38%. And then comes oil and then cocoa. So that's how come it's a heartbeat. So we need to make sure we do it and do it very well and retain most of the value here. Now, one way by which you can ensure that if at least a third or close to about half of your exports receipts come from mining, you retain the value here is through local content. You look at the figure for last year, about $5.8 billion was spent by the producing mines on mining. 1.8 billion just on local purchases. 1.8 billion. That's close to about $2 billion. And then almost about 600 million on electricity and coal. Now, our job as a nation is to ensure that as much as possible, we tap into these billions of dollars across the entire chain. Whether you are doing exploration, whether you are doing mining, whether you are adding value, or whether you are providing any support services. So what we have done is to put in place a law to ensure that these things are regulated properly. So by and large, this law that we've been discussing for the past 2-3 weeks is to ensure, one, we create jobs. When people set up businesses to provide goods and services, they make money and they employ people. But how would they get to know that, look, I have to set up this business and provide these services? Unless we create opportunities for them through this law. That's the first one. Then two, we must also ensure that mining actually support industry, that it is linked to the rest of the economy. Maybe in other segments, I'll demonstrate that, look, but for mining, certain industries will not exist. So we need to do it and do it very well. Then apart from that, we need to also increase the capability and then the competitiveness of our domestic businesses for mining. Increasingly, we are becoming a hub for a lot of mining services. So if you take explosives, for instance, Burkina Faso, Guinea, even Ivory Coast, all the way to Liberia, companies are supplied from here. That's how great things are panning out these days. And then, of course, overall, what we've been saying, we keep hearing 100 years plus business. What has this done for us? What we are doing now, or the measures and policies we are putting in place, is to ensure that at the end of the day, mining will benefit the country just beyond getting taxes and receipts.
When you look into the actual details that's maybe available to you, this law 2020, perhaps a year or two down the implementation line, would you say that more companies have come on board since this was made known, or are you now trying to make people aware that these opportunities exist, and so it's more or less a call for them to buy into that idea?
We have over 100 companies alone providing various kinds of support services, and practically every day companies register or persons register to provide all kinds of services. So yes, those who knew, and they've been in the industry all these years. But with this education, people are getting in now. Practically every day, every hour, somebody is submitting an application to provide a particular support services.
And some of those support services include providing security for the mines, giving them lubricants and catering services and others. Remind us again.
Well, there are about 41 items on the list. The items can be, the support services, as I said, just to recap, can be placed in 3 categories. Items on the list that anybody can just walk into our offices and then say, look, I want to get registered to provide a particular service. In other words, you could be a citizen or a non-citizen, like explosives. We don't have what it takes here to start restricting or preserving a certain percentage or quantum for Ghanaians. We'll get there. And then we have areas that we are convinced by way of research, by way of capacity, and what we have as a nation, that this is a no-go area. It has to be done by citizens. So the likes of fuel supply, lubricants, catering services, haulage, security, etc. Now drilling services, surface operations, and contract mining. And then we're also saying that, look, yes, the mineral is for the good people of this country, it's for the republic. But then we must also accept the hard truth that there are certain categories of persons who bore the brunt of what is going on by way of mining operations. That is those who live in the mine. I mean, I don't have to come here and tell you that some people have lost their farmlands or their livelihoods just to make way for a mine. So we are also saying that persons who live around the mine should get certain advantages. So you'll not be surprised to hear that more than 50% of the employees in practically almost all the mines come from the vicinity. Sometime last week, I was up north to check those 2 big mines that are coming up. And I just realized that they have just sponsored 2 persons from the community who are studying mining engineering at UMass, and they intend to employ them after leaving school. So they have ready jobs for them. I mean, this is what it has come to. So that is also one thing that you need to take care of. And we are doing that. And
the companies have shown commitment to do it, because failure to comply to some of these things mean heavy sanctions.
Of course. Nowhere, apart from illegal mining, if there's any other area where the sanctions are quite punitive, it's breaking the law on local content. I mean, if you don't submit your plan, you want to pay $10,000 equivalent in cedis for the first 6 months and $10,000 every day. Who want to waste money that way? So the sanctions are quite punitive, very, very punitive.
So without the technical know-how, no one, whether a Ghanaian, a foreigner, or a local person, individual, or company, can participate in this local content space created by the law. What kind of skills do people need to acquire when they want to be a part of this project? Okay,
thank you. First, let me start this way. Because of our history, over 100 years of mining, there is a mine which is about 125 years, still going strong, and it could go maybe your lifetime, I don't know. We've come a very long way, to the extent that Ghana, and I want you to listen carefully, or if the public is hearing me, Ghana is a major recruitment hub for mining in Africa. Any company that comes to Africa, if they want to recruit people, they need skills to work with, the first country they try to raid, let me use the word raid, is Ghana.
Why is that?
Because we have the know-how. We have the know-how. I mean, our mining engineers are world class. Well, it will interest you to know that we live in a country where we have a whole university just established to train people in mining related courses and then geosciences. So there are a lot of Ghanaians in Australia working. They are in Tanzania, they are in Liberia, they are in Sierra Leone. Almost all the 30 plus mining countries out of a little over 50 countries in Africa, you find Ghanaians, and not just one, several of them. There are even more in the Francophone countries. How they speak the French, I don't know. So you find a lot of Ghanaian talent, geologists, mining engineers in DRC, in Mali, in Niger. They are all over the place. So that is what it has come to. We have enough, but we still don't have enough because technology is changing, if you like, every day, all the time. So you have to adapt. For instance, the mining engineering that we know that is taught at our university, things have changed. Now you're talking about robotics, you're talking about automation, and other kinds of software and stuff that are used to train people now just to catch up with emerging trends in the industry. So our universities also need to set up. Okay, so you might take a professor at UMass, for instance, who might be trained in some of the finest universities in the world. But of course, you train people when it comes to mining, with technology, with infrastructure, etc. So some of our universities may not have this thing, so we have to send people outside. What are the courses? What do you need? As far as the law is concerned, let me put it this way. We don't allow the mining companies, and the general public should hear this clearly, we don't allow the mining companies to hire non-technical skills.
What does that mean? Non-technical
skills. So for instance, if you're a mining company operating in Ghana, you cannot bring an expatriate to become, let's say, human resource manager, external affairs manager, community relations. These are not technical skills. We will not allow that because we have enough.
So a mining company cannot employ, for example,
a mining company cannot employ
an HR manager who is a foreign national.
Yes,
it has to be.
You cannot bring somebody from outside to become, let's say, to superintend over human resource affairs of the company, sustainability, as they call it this way, compliance, and then community relations manager, and those kind of. They are not technical. We have them in abundance, so you have to employ.
So all the social sciences and the communication students and the marketing and the advertising students can still get jobs in the mining sector in the non-technical.
In the non-technical. The non-technical is shut to expatriate, except in extreme cases, but hardly. Then the technical areas. Now the technical areas, because of the history and what I said earlier or in my opening remarks or introduction, general manager below, it has to be a Ghanaian. So
strictly
Ghanaian. And you see, if you go to the mine, it runs. I don't know. I stand to be corrected. In your technical staff here, who runs the show? Is it the producer?
The executive technical producer.
Yes.
Is the leader of the technical
or
team.
If it's a newspaper, the editor. Yes. So the same thing in the mining industry, you call the person a mine manager. The mine runs on a mine manager. You have to have a certain degree, particularly mining engineering, and then you have to go through the certification over the years and then get passed and certified before you can be a mine manager and have experience. And we have it for surface and underground. So you can have a mine manager certificate, you are so experienced, but if you don't have that of the underground, we will not allow you to get there. Okay, so all those positions are reserved for Ghanaians. Clerical, etc., junior level, all those positions now Ghanaians are supposed to occupy them. Again, if you look at the data we have, practically almost all the CEOs or MDs are now Ghanaians. There are about 3-4 companies now that are run totally by Ghanaians. My favorite is Iduaprim, very big mine in Takwa, about 650 workers. From the managing director, the last expatriate left about a year or so ago. From the managing director to, if you like, cleaner or whoever is the lowest ranked person there, Ghanaian, same in Perseus. Occasionally, when they deploy new technologies, we do allow some 6 months, 1 year for them to bring the expatriate, because some of these things don't come from here, to come in and train people, and then you have to get out quickly. So that is it. So what are the subjects that you should be looking at? Mining engineering, which you can, it's a 4-year program at UMAT. We have it also at KNUST. There's also mineral engineering. Then there is geomatics. Most of them train and become mine surveyors. Then those who study geology. And then those who also do geological engineering, etc. And then geology, essentially, they say F-Science. You go to Legon now, they call it F-Science. So you can do it at Legon, you can do it at UMAT, UST, geological engineering, and even UDS. These are 5 the basic ones. Then
and all these are not postgraduate courses. You can do that when you leave secondary school and apply straight away into the university.
Yes, but you have to study.
They are first degree courses.
They are first degree programs.
Okay.
In the past, some of them were diploma. They've stopped them. They've upgraded. For instance, I left university in '94. Some of my colleagues who read science studied diploma in mine surveying or diploma in mining. I think those programs have been closed. They are now doing degree. So to get in there, you need to study sciences at the, what do you call it, high school. Physics, chemistry, mathematics, etc. So we will need to encourage our kids and our sisters and brothers and friends to do the sciences. Because if you don't study physics and mathematics, you cannot read mining engineering.
So the STEM courses really are crucial.
They are very crucial. They are very crucial. And those and let me tell you something interesting. For instance, the university at Takwa, which is essentially a mining and mining related design, university.
Very specialist.
Very specialized, okay. And then most of the courses in UST and then maybe Legon to, but essentially Takwa. This is what they do. And they are supposed to do that now because of the local content law. So you enter, let's say, UMAT first year. Doing the long vac, they are taken to the mines. So whether gold source or hydrocarbon, they take them. They take those who are studying mining engineering, those who are studying geology, mining surveying, even mechanical, electrical. We require all those people. And then that 2-3 months there, they get practical knowledge. They get exposed. In the past, we didn't have these things. Some of them only see mines when they are employed. But now, at the end of the first year, they go to the mine, they work. And then they go back. Second year, they come back. Third year, fourth year. So by the time they finish the degree program, they are employable. This is what is happening in the mining sector now. In the other sectors, they don't get it like that. So by the time somebody will finish a BSc 4-year program at UMAT or KNUST, he's familiar with basic mining stuff.
So when employers ask for a certain number of years of work experience, those sessions would count as experience.
Of course, that is experience. And I've taken a lot of them. I've employed almost about 15 or so of folks from UMAT. And then normally what happens is that when they finish the degree, the mining companies also take them for the national service. So you go to many of the mining companies now, you can get close to about 30, 40 Ghanaians who have finished universities in these mining-related programs. They are there doing their national service.
Let's bring the public into this conversation. I'm sure people have loads of questions to ask. The number to call is 054-366-4264. The number is 054-366-4264. Call with your questions. We are talking about the skills that are available for you potentially to develop in order to be a player in the Local Content and Local Participation Regulation 2020. Mr. Ayisi is the CEO of the Minerals Commission. He's here to answer your questions. You're watching us live on GBC's social media handles, but you can also watch this live on the Minerals Commission social media handles. You're on YouTube, Instagram, LinkedIn, Twitter, and you can follow Minerals Commission Ghana. The phone lines are open now. Mr. Ayisi, you were talking about
before that. I don't want to create the impression that it's all about mining engineering, geology, etc. The mining companies also require persons who have studied mechanical engineering. Why? Because there's a lot of machinery stuff at the mine. So our inspectors, for instance, we have employed a lot of mechanical engineers so that when they go out to the mines there, they can do inspection. So our Kumasi office, our Takrady office, our Tamale office, and then Kofodia office, we have mechanical engineers who go there and inspect items that has to do with machinery. So they need them. They also need electrical engineers. In fact, some of them even hire civil engineers, especially when it comes to geotech, etc. So it's all about engineering. It's all about engineering.
Fred has joined the conversation from Adenta. Good morning, Fred. How are you?
Good morning. Fine, thank you.
Pleasure to have you join us. What are your thoughts to share with us this morning?
So I would like to ask Mr.
Ayisi
Martin a question.
Go on.
Yes, I would like to ask. He said, "Oh, if you're an expert, you can't be an HR." Right.
Go on. We are waiting for the question.
Yes. So my question is, are the locals paid well? Because it's not a matter of being an expert and all that, so they won't give you this kind of job and all that. I'm asking a question. Are the locals paid well? Because there can be an expert who is a cleaner and is paid more than the local who is an engineer.
I think Mr. Ayisi has heard your question. So it's all about remuneration. Are the locals paid the same levels as expatriates?
Well, let me respond. One, the mining industry is one of the well-paid sectors in this country. They are paid good money. You cannot take a Ghanaian who has stayed in Australia 5 years or even in Guinea, Burkina Faso, bring him here and then just pay him anything. So they are well paid. The salaries in the mining sector, they are good, well paid.
As good as the expatriates?
Yes, I'm coming to that. Then two, one of the primary aim of this regulation is to make sure that as much as possible, we don't allow expatriates to come and do jobs Ghanaians will do. Because you see, typically expatriates are paid more. So our job is to quickly get rid of them and ensure that Ghanaians do it. If you pay an expatriate 5 cedis, it's cheaper they may pay a Ghanaian 2 cedis for the same job. But you see, the more you spend, on your expenditures, etc., the less you also have available to pay taxes and other things that must go to government. Do you understand that? So the expatriate situation is actually very low. I heard him saying that expatriate cleaner, we don't have those persons now. General manager below in the mine, it has to be a Ghanaian. Now, let me say this. We allow expatriates in extreme cases. Like a mining company came to me today. They said they have just lost one of their Ghanaian staff. The guy actually has gone outside. So, should we shut their mine? No. So, he says, give me 3 months. I've gotten a Ghanaian. I'm bringing an expatriate to run the show. And then
until the Ghanaian arrives.
Yes, and he actually wanted 2 years. We said, no, 3 months. So, we are looking at that. And then on merit, we may or may not approve it. So, we don't have this expatriate doing these odd jobs.
Okay.
If they have anything, they have any information, give it to us. After all, we also work on tip-offs, etc., and other information.
Fred, if you have any information, Mr. Ayisi will share his numbers with us very shortly. And you can also reach the Minerals Commission via their social media handles. We've put it out. Look for Minerals Commission Ghana on YouTube. You can find them on Twitter, Facebook, LinkedIn, and Instagram. So if you have any information, reach out to the team and they will follow up on it. So thank you, Fred, for calling. Alhaji Dauda from Medina Estate. You have our ears now. Mr. Ayisi is listening to your question.
Yes. Yes, indeed, Mr. Ayisi's WhatsApp number is very active. I sent him a message, he did reply to on the WhatsApp. My main question is, I am from northern Ghana. I'm told they have iron deposits at Sheni. One is Mr. Ayisi is going to mine, so we can also export iron. Okay. Two, Mr. Ayisi, yesterday the minority did hold a press conference and they were saying that some miners were being beaten. I don't know whether you are aware of that. And if so, this is news to us because I'm told your team and the government did clear all the guarantees from polluting our waters. Why should the minority come out to support guarantee as well as discipline yesterday?
Thank you, Alhaji. I think we have 2 questions from you, and Mr. Ayisi will now respond. Thank you for calling us.
Well, the first one, he wanted to get
iron deposits in northern Ghana.
Yes, in Sheni. Yes, a lot of exploration has been done. They are currently updating the data, and then very soon we'll take it to the next level, like get a mining lease. I heard him saying export. That is not government policy. Government policy for setting up the Ghana Integrated Iron and Steel Development Corporation is to ensure that the the iron ore is what we call it, smelted here. So we'll get to that. So yes, a lot of work has been done, a lot of data. Let me say this. When it comes to mining, it's about patience. Exploration takes time. The mine I visited last week in Borga, they started the exploration about 10 years ago. It is now that they are coming to build it. Some even take 20 years. But a lot of work has gone on in that area. So very soon we'll issue a list, and then we'll get into discussion as to how those things can be beneficiated or processed locally. So that is it.
That's it.
Yes, this Obuasi thing, I got wind of it yesterday. I think it will be dishonest on my part to start speaking when I don't have the full facts yet. So we are investigating, and at the appropriate time, the public will know. Will come out, yes.
We'll look forward to hearing that particular report. Yes. If there are attacks, that would be very disturbing. Saidu is joining the conversation from Medina. Good morning, sir. What's your question for Mr. Ayisi?
Yeah, what he's saying is 100% true. But, I mean, sometimes I work in the mining company for good 17 years.
That's what?
But right now I am in the house. But if you apply, they may not take you. But they'll rather go in for those that they don't even know nothing about mining. They'll employ them and leave we there.
In what capacity did you work for the mining company, without mentioning the name of the company?
Yeah, I can mention the name of the company.
Don't mention the name of the company, but what position, what skills do you have that qualified you to work in the mine for 17 years?
Yeah, I work through so many departments. Even later on, I joined the branch union.
Saidu, what's your qualification?
My qualification is engineering.
Engineering?
Which area?
Yeah.
Which area of engineering?
Mechanical engineering.
That's fine.
Okay, Mr. Ayisi is listening, so go on with your question.
So I don't know the reason why sometimes if you apply, they will not take you, and they'll rather take those that don't know much about mining.
Saidu is concerned that sometimes people apply and they feel they have the right qualifications, but they don't get the job.
Now, I have two.
And other people they feel have less qualifications.
Now, two things.
Do get it.
Two things. One, the good news for the likes of him is that the law now says that we should create a database. So again, I'll repeat my number, WhatsApp. He should send me his CV. We'll put it on a database so that the likes of him can be considered for jobs. That is one. Because he says he's looking for a job. Then two, there is no way the mining companies will employ somebody who is not qualified or certified for a particular position when it comes to these specialized areas. You know, you don't just get up and employ somebody to run your processing plant. He must have been trained as a chemist. I mean, he must have read chemical engineering, some chemistry or metallurgy, and then undergo certain certification before he can even head your processing plant or even become a mechanical engineer. So you cannot employ somebody who has studied electrical engineering or even mining engineering as machinery or to be in your mechanical department. So I'll be surprised if that is happening because the inspectors will find out. So the number is 0266 777 119. He can send us his CV. We'll run it through the database, and then the mining company will speak to him. But it's not true that they are employing persons that are not qualified because it will lead to accidents.
Mr. Martin Kwekwesi is the CEO of the Minerals Commission. Sir, thank you so much for your time this morning. You can catch this interview on the Minerals Commission social media handles, YouTube, Twitter, Facebook, LinkedIn, and Instagram. You can reach Mr. Ayisi via his WhatsApp number 0266 777 119 and reach out to them on their socials as well with any questions or queries you may have, and they'll find some answers for you. Thank you for being a part of this conversation. We'll be going over